Hey everyone, Happy New Year. The numbers are in for Long Beach in Panama City Beach for 2020. I'm Craig Duran with the Duran Group over at Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices. And I'm going to do this update just a little bit different than previous ones. Couple things for you. First of all, we'll look at the overall condo market in Panama City Beach. I want to give you a couple important statistics there so you can just see how hot this market is. And then look at the Long Beach market specifically, and we'll go bedroom by bedroom count. So efficiencies, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, and we'll look at pricing throughout 2020 and also focus on the appreciation that we may have seen. Part 3 will be a look ahead to 2021, and also for anyone who's thinking about selling in this year, make sure I've got a couple of pricing tips and timing tips for you, some strategies that will help you there. So let's get right into it. In 2020, we had 12% fewer condos put on the market at any given point, 12% fewer. But look at what we did. We wrote 12% more new contracts in 2020 than we did in all of 2019. And we sold 24% more condos than we did year over year. It's 1,034 units sold in 2020 versus 830 the year before. 24% is a big jump. If you think about it, year to year in real estate, there are usually not massive changes in the market. Sometimes there can be, but it's not surprising to see a 3%, 5%, 6% difference here and there. And when you see 24%, it's really dramatic, and it kind of goes to some of these other things I'm going to show you. If you want to see that in terms of sold volume, it was actually 32% more dollars that were sold. 281,872,000 and some change worth of condos were sold in 2019. 373 million sold in 2021. From a sales price perspective, the average sales price went up about 6% last year across the beach. That takes into account all the newer buildings, older buildings, big floor plans, small floor plans, what have you. That price moved up a little bit. Again, you guys know I'm a big fan of this chart. It shows us a lot of important information about the Gulf Front market. Starting with the red line. The red line represents the number of condos that are for sale at any given time. You can see that in April or May, we sort of plateaued, or we did plateau. And ever since then, we have fewer and fewer and fewer condos for sale. In fact, if you really look at this, April and May, we had more condos for sale on the market than we have in the last 2 years. And that's only because that's how far this particular report goes back. But look at how quickly we dropped to, by July, we were already down to our lowest level in 2 years. Now look at where we are. Buyers have fewer and fewer and fewer choices. And imagine the mindset of a buyer if they're sitting doing their research. They're in another part of the country thinking about coming here in a couple months to buy a condo. And they start doing their research and they see all these condos that they like. And then 2 days later, 3 days later, that's under contract, that's under contract, that's under contract. Well, let me see what else is for sale. And there's just less and less and less for sale. Buyers are very well aware that if they want to buy something, they have to offer quickly and offer strong. The other big takeaway, just to show you how important and hot this market is this months of inventory number. This is the best way I know to show you just how hot this is. Remember, traditionally in real estate, 5 or 6 months of inventory represented a neutral market, because that just gave us, that was how long you would normally take to work through the process of putting something up for sale, arranging for showings, negotiating contracts, and finally closing those contracts. That whole time, that would normally take 5 or 6 months to do all of that. If the number is lower, then things are happening faster. The whole process is getting done in 4 months or 3 months or 2 months. That means hot market, more demand, less inventory, all those things. And so look at what happened in the market last year. We started off January, February, March, very much neutral market territory, normal market if there is such a thing in the condo market. We hit the brakes right here in April. We slowed down to 14.26 months, which if we had stayed there for an extended period of time is very much a buyer's market, very much a sluggish market, would put pressure on pricing. But we didn't. We recovered very quickly. And by July, we were at 3.66. August now 2.72. hovered in the twos, down to 1.7 months of inventory in December. Theoretically, if nothing else came up for sale in the condo market, we would be sold out of condos in 1.7 months. That is how hot the market is. Still, December, we're supposed to be the off season. That's the market now. When you look at Long Beach, the chart will bounce around a lot more than that because there are fewer units to analyze. But you can see for the most part since June, we've been in a pretty healthy seller's market. We touched neutral here once. We're a little slow in December. I expect that to change. Let's go through pricing. I've got these next few tabs organized by date. So if we look in this column, we'll go by sold date chronologically throughout the year. This column will be the price. Not a lot of movement in the efficiencies. 180, 190, 188 were the sales. If we look at the one bedrooms, starting early in the year, we were at 250, 205, and 259 and 260. Later in the year, we were at 265, 246, and 290. So some very obvious moves up in price, even though we're only looking at a few units. That's a pretty dramatic move up. Looking at the two bedrooms, we had sales at 490, 520, 513, 460, 510, and 534. Some interesting things happening in the two-bedroom plan with conditions. Some of these units that touched, especially they got into the fives, are in extremely updated conditions, completely new floors, kitchens, all those kinds of things. So it's worth paying attention to. Excuse me. I've got this organized incorrectly. I was going, wait a second, those aren't two-bedroom prices. Here are the two-bedroom prices for you. Sorry. Early in the year, now my wires were crossed going, well, that's not right. So starting in January, two bedrooms, I apologize. 435, 443, 447 ranges, pre-pandemic, 445. After the pandemic, 430, 450, 444, 455, 450, 449, 433, 500, 410, 469.9, 462, 415, 442, 450. So you did see there some moves up. We didn't have any of the 460s early in the year. So very sorry for the confusion. Three-bedroom plans. We already went through this once. Let's touch on it again. Obviously, three bedrooms earlier in the year, 490 and 520. Pushed that a little bit with a unit that got up to 534. A little bit of appreciation there depending on how you want to look at that. That 490 sale was January. 520 came post-pandemic. So timing and pricing and a couple things moving forward in the market. First of all, from a timing standpoint, we're looking at, again, this chart from a company called Showing Time, which is a service that real estate agents and brokers use to schedule showing appointments. So obviously the past was that we knew we were going to see this big fall off at the beginning of the pandemic. We very much are showing the same amount of real estate throughout 2020 as we did in 2019. In fact, we're showing a little more real estate in 2020 than we did in 2019. But look at just the number of showings at any given point of the year. Over here later in the year, we're showing less real estate than we do right here. And they're getting ready to reset this baseline for us, but it's the same effect. Now remember, this is the entire state of Florida. This is homes and condos. The seasons in Florida are dramatically different. But but one thing that is interesting, because I would contend we have another little swell of condo market sales later in the year too. But if you're thinking about selling and taking advantage of this hot market that we have now, don't wait until spring, early summer, early February. Showings start to pick up. And in this condo market, 1.7 months of inventory, remember, things are happening now. So there's no really reason to wait if you're looking to try to take advantage of this market. Just from a timing standpoint. From a competition standpoint, there are only 10 units on the market for sale. And that's not a lot of competition when you spread that among efficiencies, 3 efficiencies, some one bedrooms, a few 2-bedrooms, and a 3-bedroom. That's not a lot of choice for the buyer who wants to be in Long Beach. And a couple things on pricing. Make sure you're pricing aggressive. This is the market that you can do that in. You can't price unreasonable. You can't price a 2-bedroom where a 3-bedroom would sell for, but there's always space in those ranges. Price aggressive in this market. Buyers are prepared to come in. They know they don't have a lot of choice. They know they're really not the ones in the advantage in the negotiation. Price aggressively, and then remember, give the marketing time to work. 5 or 6 months of inventory, 5 or 6 months is the normal time, right, for this process to work. So unless you need to do it sooner than that, price aggressively and have some patience. We're very used to right now things selling so quickly that it's almost become the norm. Price something and give it time to really percolate, give it time for the marketing to get out there, and maybe even have to turn down an offer or two. I'm working with a buyer or a seller right now selling something. She's being extremely patient. It's only been up for sale for 2 or 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. She's received 5 offers. None of them have worked out yet, but her offers have gone from high loan to value, low cash down payment, and a decent price, to now she's waited and she's run across someone who's putting more money down and a higher price. And we're still only 3 weeks into this process, remember. So patience and even being willing, depending on the situation, this is where you need, an agent can advise you. Be patient, maybe work through a few offers. The market, Long Beach is still in high demand, depending on your particular unit. Pricing aggressively is an excellent strategy right now. The market's working in our favor. As things heat up, and we're not even too heating up yet, we're still a little ways away from that. Things will even continue to improve. Get the marketing out there now. Let people research, and be patient and let the process work itself out. Hope you guys enjoyed that. One more thing. I know most of you already signed up for our e-alerts. Remember, anytime a unit comes up for sale, goes under contract, changes price, or sells, you'll be sent that information. It's the accurate sales price, accurate sale date. Comes straight from our real estate agent system. We can set this up so you receive that information daily, instantly, really, if you want it, weekly or monthly. And so if you're trying to keep track of Long Beach 2 bedrooms only, we can make it Long Beach 2 bedrooms only. If you want all of Long Beach, we can do that. If you want the whole market, we could do that. If you want specific buildings, if you want specific floor plans, what have you. This is the best system I've ever seen that gives people the most accurate information straight from the realtor. It's almost like you're using the realtor system. It's very accurate, especially the sales price and sales date. So many times people talk about what they sold something for and it wasn't quite what it sold for. This is very accurate. So if you want to be signed up for that, just shoot me an email to craig@craigduran.com, or you can send me, text me 850-527-0221. We'll get you signed up. There's no fee. There's no commitment. You don't have to work with us. If you have other agents you work with or another agent you work with, that's fine. Still use the system. It'll give you some accurate information. Make sure, one last note, when you are pricing aggressively in a market like this, make sure you have a plan to deal with a contract that is contingent on financing, so there'll be an appraisal involved. Make sure you have a plan for that, because it is possible to close deals at higher prices than the recent market where appraisals may come in here. We have a few strategies that when we're negotiating and helping sellers especially, that when we need to overcome a low appraisal, there's some things we can do before and after the appraisal to make sure we can still close at the higher price. So I hope you guys found this helpful. It's about 14 minutes and some change of information. Happy New Year. Stay safe. We'll be in touch next month. Thanks.